Chapter 59. Seal Pav. Right now, we are having lunch. Master, Shizu, Milam, Veldora, and me. Many things have happened since yesterday. For instance, Shizu and Milam had a fight, which went just as I expected. However, I think Master should get back at Velzard for pulling that trick on him with Milam. She taught Milam some words that are not appropriate for her, she is still too young for that. Well, it's their way of trying to have some fun, so it's fine for this time. Thinking back to the fight, it was truly a spectacle. The sheer power and determination displayed by Shizu was awe-inspiring. She fought valiantly, her golden flames blazing with intensity. Despite being pushed to her limits, she never backed down. Milam, on the other hand, showed why she is one of the strongest, unleashing attacks that shook the very foundation of the battlefield. I am truly proud of both of them, as I am the one who helped them become stronger. They still have a long way to go, but I am proud of my work. I could see the exhaustion in Shizu's eyes towards the end, though she would never admit it, that's the kind of person she is. The battle had already ended when Milam decided to use the Drago Nova. Milam's Drago Nova is a force to be reckoned with. If used at full power, no one besides me, Master, Veldora, and him would be able to block, deflect, or negate it. It's one of the strongest attacks in existence for a reason. The battle had reached a point where it was no longer safe for Shizu to continue. It was clear that this would be the end of the fight. After all, Shizu didn't fight with everything she had, she used just a little more than 60% of her power. Still, it's commendable that even with exhaustion, she was able to force Milam to use a little more than 25% of her actual power. As I glance around, I can see that the fight has left its mark on both of them. Shizu is quieter than usual, likely reflecting on her performance and thinking of ways to overcome her weaknesses. Milam is her usual energetic and eccentric self, but there's a newfound respect in her eyes when she looks at Shizu. Veldora, of course, is more interested in the food than anything else, but still occasionally shoots betrayed glances at Master. It's understandable, considering he whined so much when we returned after the fight, and Master told him about the battle between Shizu and Milam. He complained that we left him, and he's been saying things like Master's been growing more distant from him lately and not acting like a true brother. He also wanted to fight or at least see the fight, but if we had brought him with us, then he would have nagged Master to no end, saying that he wanted to fight Milam since it has been a long time he has gone all out and his body is starting to get rusty, or he has some pent-up fighting spirit and if he doesn't release it, then he could go berserk or create some story like that in order to fight Milam, even though he had just fought Milam the other day. It wouldn't be wise to let them fight again because if we do, they'll go all out and cause too much destruction, and lately, neither me nor Master are in the mood to deal with their aftermath. Well, let's leave him as he is for now. I am sure after his fight with Master, he will be quiet for some time. Master observes us all with a pensive expression. Everyone thinks he's proud of how far they've come, and all, but I know exactly what he is thinking. His thoughts are focused on Veldora's punishment. Veldora has to take responsibility for his actions. Master is thinking a form of punishment will be a good way to make him aware of his responsibilities and the aftermath of his actions that he does without giving a thought. Now that I think about it, I still have one wish. After all, I won the bet that we set between me and Master after we took Zejin and Apito under us. I know what I want, and this is a good time to make my wish. This will be fun. Let this world know the true face of Master. Seal with a plotting expression. Rimuru Pav. While eating food with everyone, I can't help but notice the mixed atmosphere. Shizu is quietly eating, clearly deep in thought. Milam is as energetic as ever, but there's a slight change in her demeanor when she glances at Shizu. It's subtle, but I can see a newfound respect in her eyes. I think letting them fight was a good choice, but I still have to get back at Velzard for teaching Milam those inappropriate words. That sly woman enjoys playing tricks on me, but no worries, I have some things in mind for her. I'll get back at you, don't you worry, my little ice queen. Well, let's leave Velzard alone for now and focus on what's going on here. Veldora, as usual, is devouring his food with gusto since it is made by me. I even made a few of his favorite dishes to cheer him up a little. Still, he occasionally gives me a betrayed look, probably still upset about missing the fight between Shizu and Milam. It's amusing to see him like this. I'm not worried about his feelings because his complaints are nothing new to me, and I know this is just temporary. After some time, he will be back to his usual self. I guess it's partly my fault for his behavior by not involving him in their fight, but letting him fight Milam again would only lead to unnecessary chaos, and I am not in the mood for something like that. I glance at Seal, who is seated beside me on my right side, while Shizu is on my left. Seal seems to be lost in thought. There's a mischievous glint in her eyes that makes me shudder in uneasiness. Knowing her, she's probably plotting something dubious. I need to keep an eye on her. Reflecting on yesterday's fight, I'm proud of how far Shizu has come. Her golden flames were impressive, and they have become stronger than last time. Her determination never wavered, even when pushed to her limits. Milam, on the other hand, displayed her overwhelming strength, her attacks shaking the very ground they fought on. I am truly proud of both of them, but they still have plenty to learn. As I ponder these thoughts, I can't help but think about Veldora. His enthusiasm for fighting is both his strength and his weakness. I know he enjoys fighting, but I have to balance his desires with the safety and well-being of everyone else. A fight between him and Milam at this moment would be disastrous, and right now, neither Seal nor I have the desire to deal with the aftermath of their fight. I watch as Veldora continues to eat, occasionally grumbling to himself. He wanted to fight Milam, claiming that he's getting rusty and needs to release his pent-up fighting spirit. But the truth is, he had just fought Milam recently. I admit that it was just a warm-up, but their warm-up is more than enough to cause havoc in Tempest. Another fight where they go all out would only lead to more unnecessary destruction. I need to find a way to address Veldora's concerns without letting things get out of hand. I know the right solution for this: our sparring match. It was still pending, and now that the Colosseum is finished, it's a good time for it. After that, he will stay quiet for some time. Also, it has been a few years since I have stretched my body, so it will be a good warm-up for me too. Yep, let's go with that match, and after that, I can put my plan into motion too. Well, let's leave that match for later and focus on the recent events after Milam and Shizu's fight. A few noteworthy events happened yesterday, such as Milam killing that one Majin named Phobio. He came here and started to spout some nonsense, which ticked off Milam, and she punched him, which accidentally ended up killing him. Well, he was annoying, so I didn't say anything to her. Guys, he was seriously too annoying. If she hadn't killed him, I would have done it myself. After she killed him, I asked her who he was, and she told me that he was one of her acquaintance's subordinates, but she didn't know more than that, and I didn't ask her further because I don't care about it. If that person ever comes, then I'll just have to see him. And if he also starts to spout some nonsense like his subordinates, then I'll just kill him. Anyway, let's forget that. So where was I? Oh, yeah, she killed him, and nothing much. Also, Gabiru and Vesta are doing some good research together. Yesterday, Gabiru reported to me some of their research, and it was quite interesting. I think I should bring Romulus here sooner than what I thought. I'll think about that later. Additionally, Geld and his men have already finished the restoration of the land that got destroyed during the little confrontation between Milam and Veldora. This brings me back to Veldora. I think before the match, I need to punish him for fighting Milam the other day. I don't mind them fighting, but I do mind the destruction they caused. If they had isolated that area beforehand, then I wouldn't think about it. But, these idiots, they just fought without even putting a barrier around, and that was a pretty reckless thing to do considering they were so near the city. I sighed, contemplating the best way to handle Veldora's punishment. It needs to be something that drives the lesson home but doesn't have to be too strict. Maybe some community service around Tempest or helping with the construction projects. Nah, that's not a good idea. Ah, I know, I completely forgot about it until now, but isn't it around this time that I decided to make Veldora take responsibility for his child? I do think that he has matured enough and is responsible enough to take on the role of a father. Yes, this is a very good punishment for him. Yep, let's bring his child back. Also, I want a cute niece to spoil. Well, after lunch, I'll talk with him. Turning my attention back to the table, I see Shuna entering the room with more dishes. She has been diligently preparing meals, and her cooking always manages to lift everyone's spirits. Compared to our first meeting, she has grown a lot. She places a beautifully arranged platter near Shizu, who smiles in appreciation, although it's clear her mind is still elsewhere. Shizu, how are you feeling? I asked gently, trying to draw her out of her thoughts. She looked up, her eyes reflecting a mixture of determination and fatigue. I'm alright, Rimuru, just thinking about the fight and how I can improve. Milam is incredibly and abnormally strong, and I need to get stronger if I want to keep up, she said, determination burning in her eyes with the same intensity as her golden flames. I nodded at her, understanding her drive. You've come a long way, Shizu. Your golden flames were impressive yesterday. But remember, strength isn't just about power, it's also about control and strategy. Milam's strength is overwhelming, but you have brilliant skills that can complement your growth, I said, offering her some advice. I know. I need to train harder and learn to use my abilities more effectively. I won't let myself fall behind, Shizu replied, nodding and taking in my words. Seeing her resolve, I can't help but smile. From a weak, battered, and bruised 8-year-old girl to the beautiful, gorgeous, mature, and strong lady she is now, Shizu has truly come a long way. That's the spirit. You all have room to grow, and with your dedication, I am sure you'll reach new heights. If you ever need help or want to test yourself, I'm here for you, I said, offering words of encouragement to everyone. Hearing this, her eyes softened slightly, showing gratitude beneath the determination. You did great, Shizu. You've come a long way, and this is just another step of many. Don't be too hard on yourself, I reassured her. Milam, overhearing our conversation, leaned over with a grin. Yeah, Shizu, you were amazing out there. Next time, let's go even harder, she exclaimed, eagerly patting Shizu on the back. Shizu chuckled softly, her spirits lifting slightly. Thanks, Milam-chan, I'll be ready, she responded in a gentle, motherly tone. Meanwhile, Veldora remained focused on his food, though he was now paying more attention to our conversation. Rimuru, do you really think Shizu can reach the level of me and Milam? He asked, his mouth half filled with food. First, don't talk while you eat or eat while you talk. Do one thing at a time, I advised, gently reminding Veldora of his manners. And second, under the right circumstances, Shizu can definitely become stronger than she is now. But reaching your or Milam's level is a different matter. You two are on a completely different level, I continued, addressing his question. He grunted in acknowledgement, clearly pleased with the compliment. Well, if that's the case, maybe I'll help her train again. Could be fun, he said, chewing thoughtfully. I smiled, knowing that having Veldora's support would be beneficial for Shizu. That sounds like a great idea. Just remember to keep it controlled. We don't need another incident like before, I warned him, knowing his tendency to get carried away when he gets hyped. As we continued to eat and chat, I couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and contentment. Despite the occasional chaos, we've all grown so close. The bonds we've formed are strong, they will last forever. Third person Pav. After Rimuru and company finished their lunch, they moved to the cozy living room of their house. The room was a blend of comfort and practicality, filled with plush seating and a large table that often served as their gathering spot for discussions and planning, especially during family meetings or private talks. Rimuru settled into his favorite armchair, feeling a sense of contentment wash over him. Seal, never leaving Rimuru's side, positioned herself in the chair beside him. Veldora sprawled out on a large couch, opened a manga, and started to read it without a care in the world. Shizu and Milam chose to sit closer to the fireplace, engaging in small talk as the warm glow added to the room's inviting atmosphere. Breaking the relaxed silence, Rimuru addressed the group. We have a lot to discuss after the recent events, and I don't want to beat around the bush. So, I'll get straight to the point, Rimuru said, capturing everyone's attention. Gulladora, we need to talk about your actions, Rimuru continued, his tone firm but fair. Hearing this, Veldora looked up from his manga, a slight frown forming on his face. Specifically, your fight with Milam the other day. You both caused significant damage, and now that we have a nation to protect, we can't afford to let that happen again. We need to set some boundaries, Rimuru stated, looking directly at Veldora, his golden eyes piercing through Veldora's feigned disheartened expression. Seeing this, Veldora sighed, setting his manga aside. I get it, bro. I admit that I got a little bit carried away. But why do I have to take the punishment? Didn't you say that Geld and his men had already repaired the damage? Seeing that Rimuru was not being fooled by his act, he decided to argue and avoid the consequences. I was aware that I would face punishment when I decided to fight her. And I don't regret it either. After all, in exchange for only a small punishment, I managed to show my greatness to them. That was a fair trade. But still, I don't want punishment, but he is not being fooled by my awesome acting. I guess I have to see this to the end. Well, if I am going to get punished anyway, then why not try to make it as minimal as possible? And even if it doesn't work, I'll just have to deal with it. After all, great things come with great risk. Ku ha 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 ha. That's the spirit, Veldora. Tackle the problem head on. Those were Veldora's thoughts as he continued to argue with Rimuru. Hearing Veldora's words, Rimuru leaned forward, his expression becoming more serious and a cold look coming into his eyes. I don't mind how you act or how much you goof around, but you have to take responsibility for your actions and face the consequences, Rimuru said, his voice calm yet serious. Your fight with Milam caused a lot of damage, and as a result, there needs to be accountability. And since the restoration work is already finished, I have a different kind of punishment in mind for you, he finished, his tone firm and final. Veldora raised an eyebrow, curious and slightly apprehensive about the punishment. What do you mean by a different kind of punishment? He asked, full of confusion and wonder. The mere thought of receiving some kind of punishment from Seal made him shudder, so he wanted to be sure. At this, Rimuru's serious demeanor changed, a mischievous glint appearing in his eyes, which sent shivers down Veldora's spine. Your punishment is to take responsibility for your child, he said in a dramatic manner, but there was still a seriousness in his voice. As the words left Rimuru's mouth, the room fell silent. The atmosphere was tense but also filled with confusion and curiosity. To be continued.